Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Aaron.
Aaron is here. Welcome back, everybody, for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. All right, let's talk about the billionaire that is funding Scientology, propping it up financially, and also helping David Miscavige buy the politicians and the influence that he needs and able to forward his agenda. Thankfully, for the rest of the country and the rest of the world, the only place in the country that David Miscavige really needs to forward his agenda is Clearwater, Florida. Everywhere else is more or less marked safe from Scientology, even Los Angeles. Los Angeles County might have, just in terms of absolute numbers, more individual Scientologists living there than in Clearwater, Florida. But on a per capita basis, Scientology is almost non-existent in LA County compared to Clearwater, Florida. Many of you may not quite understand how small of a failing cult Scientology really is. There's only about 26,000 members in the entire world. There's only about 3,000 members in Clearwater, Florida, but there's only 120,000 citizens in Clearwater, Florida. There's maybe about 5,000 Scientologists in greater LA County, but there's millions upon millions of people that live in LA County. And, you know, whereas Scientology's money has been able to buy some influence, particularly in the LAPD, Scientology is such a small fish in LA County. There's really no agenda. Scientology is never going to have any success forwarding an agenda on a citywide level in a place like LA. And pretty much everywhere else in the world is marked safe from Scientology. There's just not enough Scientologists in the world to have much of an impact. Unfortunately, Clearwater, Florida is where Scientology does the vast majority of its damage. It's a big fish in a little pond. The Scientology base in Clearwater, Florida is the highest level base and the most profitable base. It may in fact be the only profitable base in all of Scientology. In Clearwater, Florida, the Flagland base makes about $2 million a week for the human trafficking cult. And it is where David Miscavige really tries to throw his weight around. So billionaire Scientologist Trish Duggan has donated an estimated over $500 million to Scientology. It doesn't keep a whole lot of money to keep the Scientology cult operating, especially with its tax-exempt status. It doesn't pay property tax, it doesn't pay income tax, and it doesn't pay its staff. Its staff members essentially work for free. And if their compensation depends on a formula that pretty much makes sure all of the money is sent up to management and almost none of the money goes to the staff. So it doesn't take that much money to keep it going. And when you've got a Trish Duggan who's given over $500 million to Scientology, and you've got Tom Cruise who's got over $500 million to give, they don't actually keep everyone up to date on how much money Tom Cruise has donated to Scientology, but it's probably over $100 million. Anyway, I wanted to, by the way, whenever I think about how few Scientologists there really are in the world, this is the clip that comes to mind.
Are you the little guy making all that big noise? Huh?
That's David Miscavige in Scientology, that little guy making all that big noise. Okay, that all having been said, let me just share with you the news article that is inspiring today's video. It is from the Tampa Bay Times, and it is revealing the massive financial contributions that billionaire Scientologist Trish Duggan has made, not only to Scientology itself, but to the Republican Party on a federal, state, and local level. Now, guys, don't kill the messenger. I don't give a damn about anyone's partisan politics. I don't discuss partisan politics on this channel ever. And yet there will be people who are just absolutely outraged that I'm even sharing a news article that is sharing facts about the wealthiest Scientologist giving ridiculous amounts of money to the Republican Party and the Trump administration. I'm just the messenger. And if you come to this channel for information about Scientology and you find it so horrifically offensive that I'm simply sharing documented facts about David Miscavige, his cash cow, and their agenda to infiltrate and buy politicians in the Republican Party and the Trump administration, this just may not be the channel for you. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. I don't care about your politics. All right, let's look at this article. Oops, let's share the right page here. All right, here we go. Top Scientology donor emerges as major contributor to Donald Trump. Oh, by the way, why am I talking about this right now? It's a follow-on to the video I did earlier today, explaining how Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier has taken to helping forward Scientology's agenda in Clearwater, Florida. James Uthmeier, who is by no means a Scientologist, I'm sure behind closed doors, he will probably talk shit about Scientology and David Miscavige. But, you know, when it comes to elected leaders, I don't really give a damn what people say in private. I give a damn what they say in public. I care about their policies. I care about who they intervene for, whose agenda they help forward. And there's simply no question that Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier, who's received close to $2 million through his various political action committees from billionaire Scientologist Trish Duggan, is helping Scientology forward its agenda in Clearwater, Florida. So I did a video about that a little earlier today. This is a follow-on video to that, and that's why we're talking about it. Okay, top Scientology donor emerges as a major contributor to Donald Trump. Patricia Duggan has increased political donations in recent years to top conservative politicians, including the president. This is a photo, guys, from Scientology's Impact magazine that recognizes Scientologists who've made large financial contributions. Trish Duggan is the single largest financial contributor to the international family-destroying human trafficking cult known as Scientology. Okay, before 2019, Patricia Duggan's wallet spoke volumes, just not about politics. Her then husband, Bob Duggan, said in 2016 that he had given $360 million to Scientology over the years. Since their divorce in 2017, Patricia Duggan has been hailed as the largest single donor to Scientology. In 2019, Scientology created a donation distinction just for her, patron of legend. But in recent years, Duggan has expanded her giving into a new area of patronage, conservative politics. Duggan donated at least $74,000 in the 3 elections. This is nothing, right? In the 3 election cycles from 2014 to 2018, listing her address at various places in Pinellas County, campaign finance records show. From 2020 to 2024, her giving skyrocketed. In the most recent 3 cycles, Duggan donated nearly $22 million to candidates and committees from Florida addresses, including millions to President Trump, hundreds of thousands to causes championed by Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier, and thousands more to Florida congressional Republicans such as U.S. Representative Anna Paulina Luna and U.S. Senator Rick Scott. State and federal records show. A quick little comment. I've mentioned this as a throwaway comment in a handful of videos, but in the local, state, and federal Republican Party, or national level Republican Party, there has become a divide amongst those willing to accept Trish Duggan's money to forward Scientology's agenda and those who are not willing. And I was told about 6 months ago that Anna Paulina Luna, who's one of the more high-profile Republican members of the House, is very, very much on the side of taking Trish Duggan's money to forward Scientology's agenda. I ran for Clearwater City Council a number of years ago, and Anna Paulina Luna was actually supposed to come to one of my fundraiser events, and she did not show up. I called her on the phone and I invited her, and she said she would come. And something tells me that she found out, this is that anti-Scientology guy, So when I heard that about Anna Paulina Luna, it certainly rang true to me. All right. Trish Duggan gave more than $7 million to Trump's 2024 election effort, following up on the nearly $9 million she gave to pro-Trump groups in the 2020 cycle. According to the Federal Election Commission, in February, Trump appointed Duggan to a seat on the board of the JFK Center for the Performing Arts. According to the nonpartisan campaign finance tracking group, Open Secrets, Duggan was the country's 66th most prolific political donor during the 2024 election cycle. Holy shit. About 98% of her donations went to Republicans, according to the group. The giving comes at a time when the Republican Party has taken positions that track with some of the tenets of Scientology. Okay, we'll skip that. There's no evidence to suggest that Duggan's giving is done on behalf of or at the request of the church. Scientology describes itself as non-political. That is the biggest load of horse shit that I have ever heard. So Scientologists are not allowed to do anything that goes against command intention of Scientology. Command intention used to be set by L. Ron Hubbard. Now command intention is set by David Miscavige. David Miscavige sets command intention. No Scientologist is allowed to do anything that contradicts, goes against, or is not in full alignment with command intention. Religious groups are not supposed to be political. They're not supposed to tell people who to vote for. The way Scientology gets around that, as always, is setting up a variety of front groups. There is a front group, I forget the name of it, but it is run by Steve Siegel and Joni Siegel. It is a front group, a political front group that was created for the sole purpose of David Miscavige being able to tell Scientologists which politicians to support by having the message come from Steve and Joni Siegel through their front group. And their front group is basically serves as a political newsletter for Scientologists. So Miscavige has figured out ways around all of these things. Any politician accepting money from Trish Duggan is as good as accepting money from David Miscavige himself. Okay, Scientology did not respond to a list of questions from the Tampa Bay Times, but in a letter addressed to the news organization, a lawyer said that parishioners' civic participation as private citizens is an exercise of their constitutional rights. Yeah, no kidding. The church neither directs nor involves itself in the personal political activities of its parishioners, wrote Rebecca Kaufman, an attorney representing the church. Any insinuation to the contrary is false and discriminatory. Guys, it is so hilarious to me. Scientology, which claims to be the fastest growing religious movement on earth, a claim that they've made every single year for at least the past 20 years, does not even have its own spokesperson. It other than these attorneys that issue statements on their behalf. Scientology does not have one of its own internal, international spokespeople. It used to be Heber Jensch. Then it was Mike Rinder. Then it was Tommy Davis. And now it's absolutely nobody but faceless lawyers who aren't even Scientologists making statements on behalf of Scientology. It's crazy. Okay, Trish Duggan could not be reached for comment. All right, let's see. Okay, Scientology and the GOP's standard bearers do not see eye to eye on every issue. In 2024, Trump supported a Florida constitutional amendment that would have legalized adult use of recreational marijuana. Scientologists do not use street drugs, according to Scientology's website. True. Stephen Kent, a sociology professor at the University of Alberta in Edmonton, Canada, who studies Scientology, said he thinks that it's difficult to disentangle Duggan's giving from Scientology's broader goals, influence, and cultural acceptance. Okay. Between August and October 2024, Duggan gave a combined $1.8 million to political committees that fought ballot initiatives opposed by Governor Ron DeSantis on recreational marijuana and abortion. Oh my God, this is absolutely incredible to me. I have always wished that Republican leadership would truly understand that when Scientology pretends that they are one of them, I wish someone like a DeSantis or an Uthmeyer or a Trump or whatever would actually face-to-face confront whoever it is that's lobbying on behalf of Scientology and go, is it true that Scientology has a weekly shuttle that takes its pregnant clergy members to the clinic for abortions? Now, guys, I'm pro-choice, okay? I'm pro-choice all the way, but I'm also anti-hypocrisy. And I can tell you, there is no one in Scientology that would want any of their so-called Republican allies to know that even at Scientology's largest base in the world in Clearwater, Florida, there is a weekly shuttle that takes its clergy members to the clinic for abortions. Not because I'm against people's right to have an abortion, but because Scientology is nothing if not a massive hypocrite. So anyway, just want to say that. So if any of you guys out there have connections with people in leadership or power in the Republican Party, whether it's the county, state, or national level, please make sure your contacts know that Scientology is essentially a business masquerading as a religious organization that shuttles its clergy members weekly to the clinics for abortions, because that is Scientology's policy. Their clergy members are their Sea Organization members. And in the Sea Org, you're not allowed to have children, but you can get pregnant. And when that happens, they tell you for the good of all mankind, you need to terminate that pregnancy. And yes, it's possible to say no, and it's possible to leave, as me and Heather did back in 2006. But you sure are expected to do the right thing. And I'm not sure there's any other church in this country that has a similar policy. I don't know. I'm not an expert on all the churches, but that's just my take on it. All right. Okay. One of the committees that Trish Duggan donated all this money to is called Keep Florida Clean. It was led by James Uthmeyer, who was then Governor DeSantis's chief of staff. That's scary. In May of this year, Uthmeyer, who had been appointed Florida's attorney general, stepped into a debate about whether the city of Clearwater should vacate and sell a portion of a public roadway to Scientology. A resident-led group had submitted a counterproposal that would have memorialized African-American history. Scientology later withdrew its request after it appeared that the Clearwater City Council would not vote in its favor. After Scientology had withdrawn its request, James Uthmeyer sent a letter to Clearwater Mayor Bruce Rector, warning against a potentially unconstitutional stance against Scientology. Uthmeyer wrote that he learned the city may agree to vacate the land on the condition that Scientology develop its other properties in downtown. He said that this would violate a 1978 Attorney General opinion, but the Clearwater City Attorney has since said it is within the city's right to attach conditions to the sale. Florida Attorney General spokesperson Jay Williams did not answer a question about whether Duggan asked Uthmeyer to step into the sale dispute. But Williams, in a statement responding to the questions from the Times, thanked Trish Duggan for donating to the political committee that Uthmeyer led. We are grateful that Ms. Duggan supported the effort to protect our state from unrestricted marijuana use in public places. Trish Duggan has reached well beyond Florida with her giving. She's contributed to conservative and libertarian lobbying around the country. Okay, fast forwarding here. All right, that's pretty much everything that's fit to print here. Colby Edmonds reporting, as well as Kirby Wilson reporting for the Tampa Bay Times. Trish Duggan is David Miscavige's cash cow. Trish Duggan is the one financing Scientology. Trish Duggan is the one financially propping up this multi-billion-dollar international family-destroying human trafficking cult. And Trish Duggan is the one buying politicians for David Miscavige to forward Scientology's agenda. Her money seems to have corrupted Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer. It seems to have corrupted Clearwater City Council member Ryan Cotton and Michael Menino. And it seems like that effect is now creeping into Clearwater City Council member David Albritton. And it seems that David Miscavige may be about to get his biggest wish in a long time in downtown Clearwater, buying a city street, closing it down, turning it into a valet drop-off to prevent protesters from being able to be on the sidewalk outside of his soon-to-be new L. Ron Hubbard Hall, where Scientology will hold all of its annual international events. Trish Duggan is the one making it happen for David Miscavige, folks. And the more people are aware of this, the better. All right, let's go through some starred comments and we'll wrap up this video. Rib Guy says the pharmaceutical billionaire funding the organization that is against medications. This just shows that there is a price. Sharona Sarowin looks like Trish got work done to try to make herself look like Barbara Eden. Max's mom, David Miscavige, is a tiny little troll flea. Even wet, it doesn't weigh much, so he doesn't have much weight to throw around. Matt Elliott, how much do you think Nancy Cartwright has donated? I think it's over 50 million, is my guess. Adam Carmona, Trish wants her Flava Flav medal. Clearwater Patriot, is Trish Duggan connected to Save Our Society from drugs in St. Pete? I don't know. Max's mom, Trish Duggan could have done so much good with that money rather than give it to a cult. Jen Kessler, this kind of stuff drives me crazy. I hate that they can buy their way through anything because of the donations they get people to give. Old Frizzle, why isn't there a limit on campaign donations in the U.S.? It's crazy to be able to donate such obscene amounts. Some years back, there was, I guess it was a Supreme Court decision that I think it was, can't remember if there was two different decisions or just one decision that covered two things, that basically corporations are people and money is speech. That's pretty much the two decisions. Corporations are people and money is speech. So you cannot put a limit. You can put a limit, I think, on the amount of money an individual donates to a single politician's campaign. But when it comes to donating to political action committees, or when it comes to companies donating these money, those limits do not exist. That's my understanding. Let's see. Definite trouble source DTS. Erica says it would be a mistake for a politician not to do what Trish asks of them after she gave them money. Big mistake. Whatever she wants, she will get. Northern Girl, whatever happened to the separation of church, cult, and state? I thought that was the thing down there. Yep. Oddsman, I missed the comedy. Bring back Tommy Davis. Constance says the closet. Oh, wait. Oh, the closest we have seen to someone making statements is the OSA lady they used as their spokesperson for the city hall meeting. Sarah Heller. That is Sarah Heller. Yes. She showed up to a city council meeting and made a total fool of herself. Bernard Garcia, can the city of Clearwater sue in a class action lawsuit the city council for inappropriately representing the city of Clearwater's decision not to sell the street to Scientology? I don't think so, but I'm not an expert. Timothy USD, it'd be nice to get some footage of the shuttles going to the abortion clinics. Well, it doesn't say abortion clinic shuttle on the side. The Flag Land Base has dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of these Sprinter vans and the airport shuttles and the buses and oh, wait a second. Oh, yes. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. You'd have to be at the clinic when the shuttle was unloading. Yes. I mean, at one point, the weekly abortion clinic traffic got so heavy they had to spread the business around to multiple clinics in order not to create a bad PR situation for Scientology. And again, I say this not to shame the people doing that, but to highlight the hypocrisy of Scientology pretending to be some sort of a conservative religious group. It's just absolutely not. Okay. DTS says now they have to bust them across state lines since abortion is no longer available in Florida. Imagine having to make the 8-hour drive back to Clearwater after having such a procedure. Yikes. Clearwater Patriot, another possible Florida Attorney General connection is with Save Our Society from Drugs, who received $5 million portion of Senti settlements. Okay. Then they spent $4.75 million to Uthmeyer's PAC. That's interesting. I hope somebody looks into that. All right, guys. That is all I have on this for now. Stay tuned for more later this evening, and I'll see you guys soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.
Oh.